Hello and welcome to a humble Highland home. Thank you for joining me here today. There's lots of activity at this time of year in the garden, and all are different stages of their growing cycle. It was round about 2 weeks ago that I cut off the garlic scapes, and at the same time I stopped watering them to make it easier for them to be harvested. Growing garlic requires a lot of patience as I eagerly await to see if we've got a fruitful harvest this year. These garlics were planted in autumn of last year and survived the frosts and the snow over winter here in the Highlands of Scotland. This was before we built the polytunnel. These are a Hardneck variety of garlic, which tends to fare better in cooler climates, but won't maybe store quite as long as a softneck garlic. Now, this is where using different preserving methods can help keep things fresh in your pantry, ready for when you need it. I've got some small garlic bulbs here, some that are damaged and some have split. This can be caused by different reasons. It could be inconsistent watering, too much or too little water, being left too long in the ground, or it could have been a small clove when it was planted and it just didn't do quite so well. It could have had a pest attack or disease whilst in the ground, or other plants could have been competing for water. I'm separating the small and the damaged garlic bulbs, which I will use in the kitchen today. I've got a volunteer potato plant just desperate to get growing here. I have lots of volunteer plants in other areas of the garden, which I find really interesting to observe. Sometimes I can put lots of TLC into growing things, but on occasion when they volunteer, they can just thrive with absolutely no interventions from me whatsoever. This is where I grew the potatoes last year before we built the polytunnel. Tomatoes and potatoes don't like to be planted near each other as they're both part of the nightshade family. So I've tried to minimise the volunteer potato shoots in the polytunnel. Softneck garlic are generally easier to plat, to cure and to store, but given that these are hardneck garlic, I'm just going to layer them up and gather the leaves together so that they're not touching each other. I find that if the bulbs are touching anything, there's a higher risk of them starting to mould. Once the garlic are layered in bunches, I will tie them together and then they will cure hanging in a dark, airy, dry place. This will allow the skin to become papery in texture, but it will preserve them for us to use during the year. used to seeing this bed quite so empty now, but it won't be long and I'll be getting this bed ready for the next crop, which I already have waiting to be planted. Several of these larger bulbs I will be saving, and I'll be replanting them later on in the autumn time. By growing sustainably, I'm building up my stock of bulbs. This saves money and increases our self-reliance for the things that we face in the future. These are the smaller and the damaged bulbs that I dug up. As garlic is part of the allium family, just the same as onions, once the protective skin has been broken, it either needs to be used or preserved to avoid any risk of botulism. Garlic can be preserved using the more traditional methods of freezing and drying, but today I'm going to be storing some in some oil. Once the garlic cloves have been peeled and cleaned, I make sure that they're completely dry before adding them to the jars. I try not to get any additional moisture in the jars other than what the garlic have got stored in them themselves. Garlic will infuse the oil with its flavouring, and the oil will preserve the garlic in the fridge for up to around about 3 months. I'm also going to preserve some garlic in some raw honey. The oil that I'm adding to the garlic is just extra virgin olive oil, and I'll be able to use the garlic in cooking, and the oil I can either use in cooking or I can use it in salad dressing. Both garlic and honey have got so many medicinal properties that they are a great combination to use in the winter months. This is a fermenting process, so you will need to let the gases out every other day. Gradually, the garlic and the honey will exchange properties, so the garlic will taste sweeter and the honey will taste of garlic. Use this as a cough medicine. I will add it to medicinal drinks in winter time. I use both the garlic and the honey in cooking and in salad dressings. At the moment, the honey is still a very thick consistency, and the garlic will always try to rise to the top. That's why you've got to keep turning it. Gradually, the honey will thin down as it draws out the moisture from the garlic. I will store this in the dark pantry for 5 to 6 months before using. This is one of the jars that I made last year that we've been gradually using. This should keep us going until the next batch is ready, but just look how the colours and the consistency have changed. Now that's all the garlic that's been harvested today that has been preserved differently for the year ahead. Thank you for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave any comments down below or chat with me over on Instagram. But for now, take care of yourself and others, and I'll see you in the next video.